I don't really, you know what? I don't really care. Start your tape right now because I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth. This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever. Not a close second. And I've
Please tell me that you're not buying that. I don't believe anyone's buying that. Thanks for coming to Politics and Life. This is Jordan. Please like, comment, subscribe. Tomorrow I'll be releasing my first street interview. Very excited. It will get better through time, so bear with me. Today we are reacting to Biden going on Joe Scarborough today and doing an over-the-phone interview with him and his wife. This was actually 2 weeks prior to the debate where he was actually defending Biden, saying this is the best version. He's better than he's ever been. And if you don't agree, then F you. That's called journalism these days. Very biased and not factual. But now, today, they're singing different tunes. As we all know, the left is actually in the process of taking out Biden. No one's surprised. We've seen this coming. We've been talking about this since the beginning. So I'm going to show you the 5-minute clip of Biden actually on the show, and it went just as you would expect it to go, a train wreck.
To ask you, it's so interesting. You talked about how you were supposed to lose in 2020. You won. There's supposed to be a huge wave in 2022. There wasn't. In 2023, Republicans were supposed to win. They didn't. You could say the same thing about France. Le Pen was supposed to win in 2 years ago.
Could you imagine if there was fair media in America, how bad the numbers would have been? He would have never gotten elected, first of all. Could you imagine, because there's 12 to 15 different publications, radio podcasts, big media who are all left. And what is there? A couple on the right. Could you imagine if it was fair down the middle of them covering both candidates correctly and truthfully? It wouldn't even be close. And I mean, it's not close right now, but I'm talking probably 80 to 20%, because there's always a few that are still asleep at the wheel, even if you provide them with data, numbers, and evidence. But yeah, it's just crazy that they're still saying this stuff till this day.
She ended up getting crushed. Her party, her far-right nationalist extreme party, was supposed to win yesterday. They ended up getting crushed. I'm curious, what message do you take from the French elections and the British elections? Because we keep hearing about the rise of far-right nationalist extremism in Europe. But
we also need to start looking into these elections. Supposedly there's a lot of bogus stuff happening during the election in France. And yeah, it's crazy. Just like in America. The countries that do not fix their elections properly and have one-day voting are the countries that are falling. Really isn't that hard to connect the dots, but people want to play stupid and act like there's no evidence. What is the one common denominator in all of these situations? One, they're flooding their countries with illegals, every single one who's going leftist. They're letting these illegals vote too, and now they're taking down their own country's flags and flying these Palestine flags? I'm telling you, Americans won't allow that shit. We're the freest country with the most guns. People are not gonna take that, especially the military. We fought and died for how many years? We are not going to bend it over and just give the country away just like France did. But I think there is some secure things in place this time around. Hopefully we'll be able to stop the nonstop ballot harvesting, as we've heard a lot about, or the dead people voting, or the fact of the Hunter Biden laptop, which the CIA actually, 51 intelligence agencies or agents came out, said it was Russian disinformation, even though that was a lie. And just based off that alone, that would have caused 15-point swing in the direction. That right there alone caused the election, not including the illegals voting, not including the dead people voting, not including the ballot harvesting or the water main leak that happened in Georgia, or them in Michigan just shutting down the center and boarding up the frickin' building so you couldn't see what was going on. Or how about in Georgia when they had boxes of ballots just popping out of nowhere when they had kicked everyone out for the water leak? After that many instances, I'm sorry, and thousands of whistleblowers who have came forward across the country who have been ignored, you cannot tell me there was not shenanigans during the last election.
Gotta say, it looks like this past week has been the worst week for far-right nationalists between Britain and France. I'm wondering what you say about that and what message you take to NATO allies this week?
Look, Joe, let's get something clear about 20 and 24. Not only were they wrong, I said they were wrong beforehand. I said we were going to win and how we're going to win. I didn't pretend about it. It wasn't like, oh my God, I was surprised. I was not surprised. I predicted it. I knew what we were doing, number one. Number two, you may remember, I was one of the few people out there publicly saying before the 2022 election, there will be no red wave. There will be no red wave. Because I've been all over the country. I didn't believe it at all. And then in 2023, the key elections, I went into those races. Not every one of them, but a lot of them. And I said we were going to win. Look, we won those. So, Joe, it wasn't just that it didn't happen.
No, as we also know, that's another lie. They rigged the presidential elections. They didn't even have debates at all. And then, yeah, they didn't even have debates. And they actually also didn't even include RFK. They've still ignored him. And if you're running for president, you're entitled to security. Biden hasn't granted it, so he's had to hire his own security. Good thing he's rich. But yeah, no, the Democrats they rigged it in 2020. Rigged it, and they're rigging it this time too. Because remember, supposedly Bernie, their savior, Mr. Bernie Man, Mr. Communist over here, was the number one person until he was pretty much shut out. And then they nominated Potato Brains, which we knew back in 2020 he was starting to show signs of dementia. Just this time around, his brain's gone. He cannot talk. He looks like he's shitting himself every time I see him on TV when he squints his eyes, or he just loses train of thought. Can't talk. He literally just said on a radio show 2 days ago that he is the first black woman president in history. He also said yesterday that he's going to beat Donald Trump again in 2020. I don't see it. And who's the next best? Gavin Newsom? I live in California. Let me tell you, it's a dumpster fire here. We pay the most taxes for the crappiest stuff. It's really that simple.
And I was predicting beforehand it would not happen because I've got a pretty good political instinct and eye. And here's the deal. It's not going to happen here this time around. The American public is not going to move away from me as an average voter. And again, I'm here for two reasons, pal. One, to rebuild the economy for hardworking middle-class people, give everybody a shot, just a straight shot. Everybody gets a fair chance, number one. Number two, remember all this talk about how I don't have the black support? Come on, give me a break. Come with me. Watch. I'm getting so frustrated.
Look, they jacked him up on drugs. You could tell this morning because half the time he's sleeping. And then if it's in the morning, he's all doped up. They're probably giving him Hunter's crack on the side. He's literally just saying, oh, these people that are saying these mean things about me, just watch. And about the black support, pretty much making a mockery, just assuming that the black people are just going to vote for him because he's a Democrat. How ignorant. I don't understand because all these questions are scripted. I don't understand who's in the room with them saying, Mr. President, say this. This is actually a smart thing to say. Anytime he does these, they're trying to rebrand him, but he's just making himself look weaker every single time. And he looks delusional. He looks like he's almost like bipolar because he's all doped up 1 minute and then asleep the next second. It's embarrassing.
But by the elites, now I'm not talking about you guys, but about the elites in the party who they know so much more. But if any of these guys don't think I should run against me, go ahead, announce for president. Challenge me at the convention. On Europe, the polls are wrong in France. They're also right. There's no right wave or tide here in America either. By the way, in case you're wondering whether there is one, have you ever seen Trump run away so fast from what he's for? He's going to do it anyway. But he's such a liar. This guy.
You just said, have you ever seen Trump run away for what he's for? What the hell does that even mean, dude? And if we do have a plan in place where we have 1 day voting, and let's say there's a mark or watermark on ballots, which I do think that every ballot, if you're going to put them out, make a mark so we're able to tell what's legal and what's not, what's fraud, what's not. I believe in same day voting. If you're too lazy to get your ass down there to vote, you don't need to vote. Yeah, I also think we should have a test to see who's qualified to vote because I think the generations, especially these days, are so stupid that they need to be tested before being able to vote. I don't see anything wrong with that. If you don't know basics on how the government works or for example, 3 different, I don't need to get in that. I'm going to irritate some people. But yes, It's rich here coming from Joe Biden. That's rich. And you could tell just on I forgot it, Joe Scarborough's wife's face. She looks like she's like, oh crap, we need this to hurry up. This is making us look bad.
Everybody knows what they're planning to do. And now he's saying, no. This guy is going to rip away at a woman's right to choose in a permanent way. This guy is going to make sure that he exacts revenge. This guy's going to destroy democracy. This guy's going to give a blank check to the Supreme Court. And he's going to use it to pass the
what is he talking
agenda.
About?
You know, this guy's extremely dangerous. But you notice he doesn't speak up for what he really is for. He's all of a sudden realizing, oh my God, nobody's for what I'm for. But anyway, look, and again, think of the things.
Why a lot of Democrats who previously voted for Biden are now on the other side. I mean, anyone who saw the All In podcast, it's David Sachs, the billionaire, and I don't know the other guys' names. I've been listening to them a lot lately, but all three of them are billionaires who were huge Democrat donors who are now in full support of Trump this time around. And I mean, who is the other one? Oh, the I don't know her name, the Asian lady who was a huge Obama. She actually worked for the Obama administration, bought art of him, and actually has donated. She's actually in support of Trump now as of last week. Yeah, a lot of these mega donors are now saying if Biden's in, we're done, or just we're done with them, period. And they're switching to Trump, as it should be.
Talked about he gave the largest tax cut in history. Yeah, he gave the largest tax cut in history to millionaires and billionaires.
That's a lie.
He said that those 10% universal tax proposal is not going to drive prices higher. Every major economist in the world is saying it's going to drive the average $2,500 per person. Only jobs he created for illegal immigrants and bounce back jobs and bounce back from COVID.
What's he talking about?
That's what he said at the convention. At the debate. Everything he said. He said, he largely fixed COVID. You kidding me?
And you also said that no Americans have died under your watch since you've been president. That's a lie. Or no illegals have killed Americans. Or no, and also no soldiers. That multiple lies. You said no illegals have killed Americans. Trump actually brought up a specific name. And you also said that no American soldiers have died under your watch. That's a lie as well. What a piece of trash you are. He's just so ignorant. He is such a narcissist, pathological liar. He's always been that person, which is why the other, 3 times he ran as president in the past, he had to actually go out because he was caught plagiarizing speeches and actually lying about his college experience. Everything that comes out of this guy's mouth is a lie.
And what happened? Nobody said anything. Nobody said anything except me and the folks out there in the local, race. He said, I did nothing to stop Russia's invasion of Ukraine. In fact, he said, I think I encouraged Russia from going. I think he encouraged Russia going in. I'm reading from the list of lies. First of all,
again, he said Trump encouraged Russia to go into Ukraine, but the other day on an interview with George Stephanopoulos on ABC, left-wing news station, he actually said that he was the one that created NATO, his words, not mine, and the expansion of NATO, his words, not mine, which means he is the key reason why the war in Ukraine started. But we already knew there was about to be a peace deal originally, and Biden sent what's his name? I forgot the UK ex Prime Minister Boris Johnson. That's it, Boris Johnson down there to shut down the peace treaty, which caused the war in Ukraine. That's the facts. It's well documented. Biden was the one that sent him down there to break up the peace treaty. So it's actually Biden's fault 100% why this whole world war in Ukraine started. It's his fault why the war in Israel is happening as well. All of this happened under his watch. Weak leadership comes with bad consequences.
Oh, he was made up quote, suckers and losers.
That's a lie.
He called the Americans in the cemeteries from World War I suckers and losers. And so this guy's going to have to start to answer for what he did. I'm not letting up, Joe. I am not letting up a little bit. And by the way, France registered, look, You talk about Europe. France rejected extremism. Democrats will reject it here as well. Trump, and this is a guy who is an extreme candidate. I can't think of a candidate in my lifetime that's been more extreme. He makes George Wallace look like a patriot.
President Joe Biden, let's make this a thing. Thank you for calling in. We really appreciate it. And thank you for answering our questions.
If you're willing to hear from me, I'm willing to talk to you. Thank you very much.
We will take it on a regular basis.
All right. Thank you, Mr. President. Greatly appreciated.
That's it. Enough of that. There's 2 seconds left. What do you guys think of that? I just feel like that was so embarrassing. And me as an American watching that, we need a president that leads through strength. And I don't see that from Biden. I mean, I actually voted for Obama the first time. And then when Trump came around, they started hating on him. And I'm like, why do they hate on this guy so much? And so I actually started digging into Trump's policies, not his words. Not what he says, what he does. The numbers, the facts, the data. And that's what I vote based on. I actually like the mean tweets. I love that he triggers these pussies, as I call them, these soy boys. I'm here for it. But I vote based off policy and what's going to make me and my family's future better in the long term. Not killing babies, not January 6th or the insurrection or all this little DEI garbage or the trans movement. It's just, I'm really starting to believe the left is becoming a cult. My opinion, I have one family member that's a Democrat, so I'm still cool with them, but I don't get it. I don't get like why vote. They like prop up people and they promise all this free shit before elections. They get all these like rich elites to come out and prop them up, and then the minute the election's over, it's back to normal. It blows my mind. And the last 2 minutes where he always says that he was telling them to drink bleach, Americans to drink bleach. That's a lie. That's been debunked. That was a lie. He also has never called soldiers suckers and losers. That's a lie. He uses these same talking points over and over. It's nothing new. It's always the same stuff every time. And half of these lies that he tells has been debunked by left-wing news stations even too, like CNN, MSNBC. So, I mean, the dude his word means nothing. Everyone who knows about Joe Biden's past know that he's always been a pathological liar and a racist. I mean, it's not hard to find that truth. But anyways, hope you guys liked it. I'm going to be doing my first straight interview tomorrow. I fixed the audio, so I'm very excited to show you guys. I know a lot of you have been commenting saying, where's the video? Well, it's getting posted tomorrow. Have a blessed night. Peace.